Hello, everyone. I am coming to you with another Chef to Chef live, sponsored by Club and Resort Chef Association. And this week's sponsor is Nestle Miners, so we appreciate them helping out the club chefs around the country. And we are joined by a couple of pastry chefs today. I thought we'd kind of change it up a little bit and get some pastry chefs in here, the unsung heroes of the club. So we have Vander Ploeg from Butterfield Country Club, and we have Laura Herman from Women's Athletic Club in downtown Chicago. Girls, thanks for joining me today. Let's get into some questions about just kind of where you're at from the pastry department from the last 6 months of the uncertainty that we've been going through. And Ashley, you want to take me through kind of where you're at in your department right now?
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of had like a lot of changes that have happened over the past 6 months, obviously. A lot of events got canceled, a lot of weddings, everything. So for me, that's been super different. I'm used to mainly focusing on the events and banquets and weddings, everything. And then kind of like the restaurant and dining is kind of like not as big of my like list of to-dos. So I've kind of had to shift to mostly focusing on that. But also, changing a bunch of stuff before when we were just doing carry out to making desserts that were, to go friendly and everything. That was a big change for me too, because I'm used to just doing, plated things or buffets and stuff. So that was pretty different for me.
Yeah, LP, you're more of a city club, and summers aren't crazy busy for you, but March, April, May, what did you see with your business?
Yeah, we do a lot of carry out prior to this, and so it kind of just carried over. It definitely expanded, but I feel like we're running as a bakery more than working at a club. So we're doing a lot of, still small, all like 6-inch cakes, and we make our bread daily. And like Ashley does the family meals. So the desserts kind of were a lot different than what we used to normally do. But it's been successful and we're still open, but no banquets, no events is pretty tough.
Do both of you have assistants right now? Can you afford them with a little loss of business? And in addition, talk to me about finding an assistant. And is that a difficult task, Ashley?
I do have an assistant. I have one. I've only had one my entire time being here. She does still work, but her hours have been cut way back. So she used to work, probably like 45 hours a week. And now with us being slower, she works about 20. It was really hard for me to find an assistant when I didn't have one. It took me a while to find somebody who also wasn't super experienced, so they could learn and everything. And then also with them having their schedules open, and it was really hard to find somebody who was able to work the days that I needed them to, and also have at least enough experience to be able to help me and everything. But I also wanted to find somebody who was still in school and wanted to learn and stuff. But it took me at least a few months to actually find somebody. But my assistant's amazing. She's been with me for about a little over 2 years now, and she's the best.
Is she okay with 20 hours? Is she kind of just eking by? Is she looking for something else, or?
She's struggling a little bit with working, the less hours. She would obviously like to work more. For a while when we were just closed doing carry out, she wasn't working. So she was able to, be on unemployment and everything and take advantage of that. So with that helping her, she's doing okay that she's not working a ton. But she definitely would like to have more hours, but she's okay with it for the meantime.
Laura, what's your situation with an assistant?
Yeah, I'm pretty fortunate. I inherited 2 full-time staff when I started. One who's been here for 12 years now, and another one who's been here for about 3. We were looking, so their hours were always 40 hours. Holiday season obviously was a little bit more, but they're cut back to 30 hours each right now. And then during Christmas season, we do need still a little bit extra help to help with the overtime. And I was looking, and you would think in the city that I would have kind of my picking, and that's not the case. And then also it was hard because I think the expectations of people coming out of school or starting a job the pay is not what they think it should be. And I think that's probably been the hardest part, but is that their expectation of pay is just too much, especially with somebody, starting out. So that's the only issue I've kind of come across.
Did both of you start looking for somebody and realized, hey, maybe I'm not paying enough or advertising to pay enough? Did you, after a certain point, LP, you obviously, like you said, inherited somebody, but as you look for somebody, is the price of poker going up? I mean, is it, an assistant, starting maybe $15 an hour a couple of years ago? Is that position $18-20 an hour now?
Yeah, it just doesn't, I think it's really hard because when you're starting, I think you should also have a goal. So kind of start yourself lower and then you move up and you become like a cook 2, cook 3, you gain that experience, which with the pay should go up. But when they're coming out of school and expecting $18 an hour, when we already are full-time staff of 3 and I just need help, decorating cookies or plating parties, it really doesn't justify spending that much money. So I don't think I was very clear in my job posting of what we were looking for, and people would still come in and expecting $20+ an hour, and it doesn't make sense for us.
Ashley, you find that pretty accurate?
Yeah, no, the pay is obviously, one of the big issues too, just because at least for here, they didn't really have like a assistant position like available in the budget kind of, so they can't really afford to pay the pastry assistant that much, which is also why, I knew that I had to look for somebody who was, still in school or didn't have as much experience, because then they'd be willing to get paid a little bit less. And, then, like I said, I could teach them and, help them become better or whatever. So they'd get that experience as part of like, that little bit of the pay cut, But yeah, definitely the pay was a big problem with some people. They expected to get paid a lot more than we could afford to pay them.
Yeah, I think it's an issue with the entire kitchen, the entire industry in general. Pastry chefs are in demand. I know our friend Tim Rios has been looking for a pastry chef for a little while. Laura, that's pretty funny to you, I know. Do you guys feel like you can almost write your own check as well at this point, as you're looking for advancement? Not that either of you are doing that right now, but I just find it fascinating that the clubs that do have pastry departments really struggle to find a good solid pastry chef nowadays. What do you think it is? And it kind of leads to the assistant, but is there just not enough people that are interested in the pastry field coming out of culinary school, or what do you guys think? Ashley?
I don't really know. I feel like there are less people that actually do want to be pastry chefs and everything, like in regards to like the amount of people that go to culinary school and stuff. Yeah. I feel like it is kind of hard to find pastry chefs, partially because it is a lot of work. It's really long hours. You don't really have like a set schedule, at least being at a country club. I don't. I feel like you're kind of expected to do like everything. It's not like you're just doing something like a bakery would do. You have to do custom cakes, buffets, plated desserts and everything like that. So I feel like it's just kind of like you have to kind of be able to do a bunch of different stuff, and you can't just focus on one thing. So I feel like that's also part of like a hard thing too, to find people.
It's definitely a multitasking job for sure. LP, is it just lack of people coming out of culinary school right now, or is it what's the challenge?
I think the hard part is that when you get out of school, you think about working in a restaurant. I mean, most time that's what you see and that's what you hear about. So I don't think people know about clubs as an option, especially, the difference between clubs and restaurants or hotels is the benefits are typically better. The hours I know can be rough, but the hours are still better than, closing the kitchen at 2 in the morning. Mm-hmm. But I just think that they don't know about clubs as an option. And then also people get intimidated because there is a little bit of a lack of support with pastry chefs at clubs. I think that the kind of general mentality is that we're lucky that they have that position available. But, you know, as you grow the program and you might need additional help, you know, it's not typically there in the budget. So I think that's where sometimes it can be a little overwhelming to walk into a club and think about all this work that you have and do it by yourself. I think that's part of it too.
Yeah, both of you, to Ashley's point, both of you guys do cakes for private events and members and everything like that. Is that a bit of a side gig for either of you? Is that something that is drawn up in your contract, or you know, verbally understood that, you know, like you get a piece of that pie, so to speak? Or Laura, is that a little side money for you? Or
I do not. It's never been in any contract that I have done, and I know that it exists. I personally am not as strong. I know Ashley's fantastic at cakes, so I definitely can make them, but I know the time commitment that it requires, like specifically that Ashley does. I can understand if she was able to do it because it's a stronger part of her repertoire, but for me, I just think of it as part of my day-to-day job, and I can make them, so it's all works out, but I don't do anything pretty much over the top.
Ashley, what's your relationship with that?
Yeah, for me, I do actually get a little bit at the end of the fiscal year. I do get a little bit of a percentage of the amount of cakes that I do, because I do a ton of cakes here. I pretty much do every single wedding cake that we have. And I also do tons of birthday cakes and anniversary cakes and baby shower and bridal shower. And I pretty much do every cake that comes through here. So yeah, I do get a little bit at the end of the year.
No pressure, huh? A wedding cake? Yeah. That's gotta be tough, huh?
Yeah. I'm like, I want more cake orders, but I also don't, so.
Yeah. So what are some things that are, Ashley, we can start with you. What are a couple things on your menu that have become staples there that are, you know, for lack of a better word, don't take off the menu?
Yeah, there's a few things. They're not really that crazy or fancy or anything. I cannot take apple pie off the menu. That is we sell so much of it. We always have to have, you know, some cookies on the menu too for the kids and everything. And ice cream is like a giant seller here for dinner service and stuff, specifically peppermint ice cream.
Do you make your ice cream?
I make a lot of the ice creams that go on my like plated desserts, but the scoops and stuff I don't, because I only have a little 2-quart ice cream maker, so I can't make enough to do that.
Be working it all day. It's funny how in a club, as opposed to a restaurant, you would think people would want, you know, some exotic, you know, 4-tier moosed up, you know, order something like that. But man, just a simple apple pie, huh? It's just not broke, is it?
I change my menu up pretty frequently, and I have nice desserts on there, and people just still, I want a scoop of peppermint ice cream, please, like it, or apple pie, and that's just what they want. It's kind of sad, but you know.
No, that's all right. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
LP, you're obviously your cookies are off the charts, and we've all had them in various.
Yeah. I would say, I think this is how I always look at it, is there's a bad chocolate chip cookie and there's a good chocolate chip cookie. So if they want just a cookie, or if they want pie, as long as you make it fresh and you make it delicious, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. Like, I love the challenge of somebody coming in and asking for a 4-layer mousse, you know, something that they saw in a magazine. That's awesome, and I'll be able to provide that. But we're a little bit different, as we don't have that many. We're not open for dinner service except for 1 day a week. So most of what we do is for banquets. But I won't forget, like when I was interviewed and they said, what's one thing that you make really well? And I said, chocolate cake. And they said, you won't sell that here, because, you know, it's a women's club. They won't really buy it. And we probably average for carry out right now about 5 chocolate cakes a week. And so I've been here for 2 years now. So it's definitely built over time. But I think I love that when somebody says you can't, they won't. And that's when I'm like, oh, I'll totally show you that they'll order that. As long as you make it good and fresh, it's solid.
I think a lot of chefs pride themselves on that, when they tell me you can't. Now, you can't force liver and onions down, a member's throat either. That's just, there's a line there, but at least I love the challenge as well. So I'd like to just talk about certification. Have you guys, either of you, considered doing a certification either through the ACF or another venue? That is that something that interests you personally, Ashley?
No, I actually haven't really thought about that. Maybe down the road I would, but I actually haven't really thought about that at all.
LP, any interest for you?
Yeah, actually I've been fortunate enough to go to attend some chef to chefs, and I think that I found it a little bit empowering to have that certification, and I understand, kind of the value of the education. And so I just finished right in March. I just finished my pre-certification classes, and I was looking forward to taking the tests in June, and that's not happening right now. So I look forward to hopefully accomplishing my executive certified pastry chef when the time comes.
Yeah, congrats on that. I think we're gonna start looking into doing something like that with the club chefs and the Club and Resort Chef Association. So we'll keep everybody posted on that as that goes by. So thank you, girls, for joining me today. Good luck in your endeavors. Real quick though, Laura, did you say you're only open one day a week for a la carte?
We are very much a lunch club being in the city, and then also with events. So we are open if there's a private event at night, and otherwise we are only do dinner service on Wednesday.
How is that for a kitchen to only be open one day a week? Is it the same menu one day a week, or is it just a different menu, an abbreviated menu? I'm really curious how you can do that for just one day.
Yeah, it is a full menu, but what we've learned, we've adapted it a little bit, where we are open for small plates in our lounge, which is on the second floor, and on the third floor is our main dining room. And we kind of incorporated a little bit of the small plates that have some larger menu items on there, our lunch menu, and then in addition to, like a filet, nice fish. So it's not a necessarily limited menu, but it's limited to a dinner style service. But it works. We'll open a lot of times what happens is we do a club event on a Wednesday night, and then it would end in time for them to enjoy dinner with us. And so we'll get a little bit business from that. But it's definitely different than coming from clubs before, where you were jamming on an August night, and we're not even open. So it's crazy.
Yeah. All right, girls. Hey, have a good weekend. I'm sure we'll talk to both of you soon, and thanks for joining me. I appreciate the time today.
Thanks, Tom.
We'll talk soon.